our No Shave Today campaign. This morning, one of the least talked about issues affecting men, mental health. As part of its focus this year, the Movember Foundation put out a candid video encouraging men to open up. We sat down with two Movember ambassadors to hear their stories.
Men are so focused on the ideal of masculinity and how they have to appear to be. We forget to cry. We forget to be emotional, to show vulnerability, to show pain.
For a long time, there's been this gender stereotype that men are meant to be really tough and strong and brave. When I dropped out of high school, it was because I was mentally unwell.
At 17, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, a severe form. In battling that disease, people forgot that I was a human being. I
know how hard it is to talk about this sort of stuff. I know how much of a barrier there can be, particularly for men, whether it might be seen as being weak or not manly enough or whatever.
We need to talk about this. We need to be honest about it.
It's one of those things that's kept under wraps so much. It's so much more common than we realize, and we just hide it.
Let's change the conversation. Let's make it a point for humankind to recognize that the brain is an organ just like every other part of the body and sometimes needs help.
Every single person on the planet can be a part of making mental health mainstream.
Whatever you're going through, whatever pain you're experiencing, you matter most. It's okay to be in pain. You're human.
It doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't make you less of a person. It makes you someone who has a condition or a situation that can be helped. So please get the help. You'll thank yourself for it later.
Here with more on men and mental health, Dr. Mehmet Oz and Dr. Snyder, a professor of psychiatry at Mount Sinai. Guys, good morning to both of you.
Morning.
We're talking about embarrassment again. Tuesday, we talked about men being embarrassed to talk about testicular cancer. Now we're talking about men being embarrassed to talk about mental health.
You know, the reality is the most profound thing we're embarrassed about is our mental health. And it's not just about losing lives. It's about quality of life. We don't want to be backing our way through existence. So we spend a lot of time in our joint survey asking questions with provocative insights gained about why men aren't talking about their minds.
Nearly half of the men, 46%, say they're embarrassed to share their feelings about mental health. And this is significant. 49% admit that they're feeling more depressed than they let on.
Yeah. You know, men don't ask for directions when they're lost either. This is male quality of not wanting to get help, go it alone, be brave. It's a noble male quality, but sometimes it can get in your way.
So when you come across men, what do you tell them? How do they get past this hurdle?
A lot of folks think they have to man up. We even have that phrase. If you really want to man up, you want to protect your family. The most important thing a man needs to do, iconically, is to be there for the people in his life. And it's profoundly important to get men to understand that if they're not healthy, they can't walk their daughter down the aisle. They won't be there for the rest of their family if they need some help.
Does depression manifest itself differently in men than it does in women?
Well, there are a lot of more commonalities than there are differences. Men tend to have an irritability thing, perhaps more than women. They get irritable, they get enraged. Men want to go off by themselves. They want to do that anyway, but they want to go off by themselves because they're irritable and nothing feels good. And often they do self-destructive habits like drinking and drug use because nothing feels good.
What do we say to this series is geared toward men, but it should also be geared toward the women in our lives. How do women play a role in this to try to help guys become more communicative about things like this?
First of all, use sports metaphors. But actually, literally, you want to say, pass the ball to me, honey. I'm here too. You don't have to do it all yourself. In this survey we did together, we found profound things about men, and they're very different from women. Women want to be there to help. Iconically, a man wants to protect, but the woman wants to be there for him as well. Let women help you. And if women say that to a man, he'll step down a little bit and say, okay, I'll let it happen. Otherwise, they will lie to themselves, they will deny, and we saw this over and over again in the survey.
The message seems to be day after day.
Sports metaphor is good. War metaphors, in fact.
Wow.
Men geared mentally for battle. You don't want to let the enemy know that you're showing weakness. That's where they're going to attack. So you got to respect the fact that a man's got a battlefield mentality and work with it that way.
Doctors, thank you both.
Thank you, Matt.
Appreciate it. Important information. If you have questions for them they're about to take part in a live chat on our Today Health Facebook page, and you can find more information at today.com.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.